There's actually not one, not two, but three ones in here. I mean, I have got my attention, and let me share with you. So I never have manipulated a Mayoi before. Adding these materials it has to do with the size of the plant, the size of the root ball, the size of the container. Hey, hello. Welcome back to Content Growing. I'm David, and today we're going to address another philodendron. As I save it from removing the old dirt, and thankfully it was a lot easier than Belitiae. You can see there's a minimal root loss there. There's actually not one, not two, but three plants in here. I mean, I have to make a cutting, but I think it will be worth it. And why is that? Because the first Mayoi that I have was an imported one from 2023 in September. Pick it up at the Aero show in Dallas, and it was doing fine. It has, for the amount of time that I've had it, it has not grown as much as I would like to, and it's recovering from the winter because he spent the winter out here. But let me show you what it looks like. So it has like, this leaf has completely dried out, so it's down to one leaf. We're gonna just remove this one, but it has a new grow point coming there. Now I do believe that this one will recover, but it's been having issues. I don't remember exactly what happened. Like at the very beginning of this spring, he was having like I don't know if it was like a fungal problem or was being attacked by spider mites. But regardless of that, it's still alive, and it's not looking so great, but it's still alive. So I'm just giving it time because it has a new growth there, and if it doesn't get better by the end of the summer or like middle of the fall, I'm gonna chop it and prop it up. But for now, this has been my experience with it. Now remember that experience, it has neglect in there. So about 2-3 months ago, I found another one from a local grower, and it's in much better shape. So it was in this coco peat, and it was so much easier to get it out because it's quite good coco peat. It's not the fibrous one. Let's start with the chop, because it's gonna be like it's gonna cover quite well the whole moss ball situation. This will be divided in two. I have a perfect cutting right here, so I will be able to attach them both to a moss ball. Yeah, see, I'll have this bigger leaf right here. It's gonna be part of the smaller one, and the other one will still have two leaves. So let's start with the cut. Let me disinfect these shears, and here is the other one, which is the bigger one, and this one already has an extension that is throwing like aerial roots in there. So I didn't have any type of moss ball or anything. So I'm gonna attach a moss ball to it, but direct these aerial roots into it. And you can see the internodes are quite long, and it was like that when I bought it because it was not getting a lot of sunlight. But you see, since I got it, the internodes have gotten a lot shorter. But for starters, right now I'm just gonna prop it like this on the new moss ball and let it adjust to that. This is my half water, half alcohol mix. So I'm gonna tap it right there, and I'm gonna use my mix of rooting powder, cinnamon, and sulfur powder to callus the cut. So this is the moss ball that I have all ready to go. Now what I want to see is like this amount of roots are going to be too much for a 6-inch pot. So I believe that I'm going to use this size pot, which is just about 6-inch possibly. Let me see, because this is a 6-inch pot, so it might be like 6.5, but it's a lot deeper, and that will serve the purpose of fitting all these awesome roots. It had a quite big of a cork, but it was easy to remove. Like you can see, still there's like a little bit of it, but like that's not that big of a problem. So I'm not gonna nitpick on that, and we're gonna proceed as I do in the others. Now be patient with me, because I have to think that this is the first of my videos that you watch. So watching the videos, all of my videos can get a little bit repetitive. First thing, first things first, I'm gonna measure that the length is right. So the measure right there is correct. I don't want the moss to touch any lower of where the roots are coming off. So I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna add the mix. You can add the mix together. This is my moss ball mix. So I'm gonna start with a small base, and then I'm adding my small particles mediums. A bit of DE or diatomaceous earth, a pinch of mycorrhizae. We're gonna add more mycorrhizae once the root system is in place. A pinch of slow release fertilizer, and a pinch of, or pinches of earthworm castings. So the first thing is like placing the moss ball all the way to the bottom of the container. Give it a little bit of an incline that I like. Having this incline allows when you water the moss ball to drape all nicely, instead of, especially if the moss ball becomes dry, you can easily just like run away from the moss. But like with this little bit of an incline, it helps to soak the whole system. So once I have that little base, I go back horizontal. Thankfully, these aerial roots are short, so okay, this is an add-on, because I was gonna do this other Mayoi off camera, because you already saw me doing the bigger one. But this got my attention, and let me share with you, because I never have manipulated a Mayoi before. See how, for example, like the red philodendrons, like the strawberry, or the red sun, or even the pink princess, the the dark lord, like all of those have like a really red sap. It looks almost like blood. The Mayoi has a black sap. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? Now, while we're here, I'm just gonna mention, I'm gonna place this in a much smaller pot. So I'm gonna give it a moss. I wanted to have some support because it's already throwing some anchoring roots. These are aerial roots. These are regular roots, and these are aerial roots. So it's trying to attach to something already. So I'm gonna put a small moss ball, because if you see the other videos, my moss balls are very easily attached. Look how black that sap is. And I'm not gonna water them for a couple of hours. I want to let that cut to heal well. This one I'm gonna do it first, because I'm gonna place it this way against the moss ball, so the cut will be away from the moisture of the sphagnum moss, but this one will be towards it. So one thing that I'm gonna do is just gonna add a little more powder to this to help it dry up and callus. And while this one sits, I'm gonna prepare the moss balls. Let me show you how small can moss balls be. I want to put the smaller one on a clear pot so I can see any development, because it has a much smaller root system. So now I'm going to add a little bit of the netting. Moss, but I'm going to have all the things that are growing in moss ball also in their own playlist. The philodendrons in their own playlist, monsteras in their own playlist, etc. So like in about the middle, I'll just add the strap. And I'm gonna do the same that I do with the other ones. A bit of a base in the back for the incline. And then on this case, the moss ball is not that large. I can feel the back of it before placing the plant in the pot. So then now, after I make room, I can just place the plant in there. And I get the thicker roots in there first, and add my smaller particles, DE, mycorrhizae, slow release, and earthworm castings. Now, if you notice, like I didn't add at the bottom and again towards the end because it's a small cup. So all of those things like to have in mind whenever you are adding these materials is it has to do with the size of the plant, the size of the root ball, the size of the container, and then adding your watering schedule and all that. It becomes part of what the formula is going to be for your plant. This is what works for me, and not even 100% of the time. So, but this is my approach to moss balls or aeroids. Now, in the next video, in the video after that, I'm gonna share a fail approach to moss balls with a different type of backing. This is the other one. I'll add a pad to it at the end. So that is it for that. So let's resume with the other one. So last couple of notes just to be thorough, because you saw me getting that moss ball on this particular setting. What I did for the massive root system that is here is basically concentrated in the middle. So when I put the base, I did the same old-fashioned setup, and then I put the roots, I did the powder, and then I put the soil, and then I put the finer ingredients on top, a lot of slapping to get the media well in between all those roots. That's why I apply at the end, and once I like low down a little bit, I put another bit of mix. Different things, like you have to be adaptable in those things. The other thing is, because the cut is right there and and this moss is being pre-moistened with also nutritious water, I don't want it to be touching that just yet. So I'm gonna leave it like this, and I'm gonna water them because the moss balls are already pre-soaked. I'm just gonna water the medium in the containers, and that's what you're gonna see after I finish the big one. I don't have to struggle with placing them through the moss. Now, if these area roots were longer, then the way that I will attach the pole will be different. So when that comes around, I'm going to show you in a different video how I get that done. But to make it easier now, because it's very top heavy, I'm going to add a strap on the top so it stays center. And I'm seeing another group point that is developing right here. Now these ones have to be monitored. I'm going to show you in 2 episodes. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, because I'm going to do some resets and fill ups and possibly a chop and extend. And I'm going to talk about what happens when the plant goes out of the moss ball, how to reset it. Okay, so now the placement is right. Now I have to just accommodate the root system into the pot. Usually I prefer to have the whole system in the front, but when it's this long, I just can wrap it up. I mean, the root system, once it grows, it will find any room in the pot to continue to grow. And that's what they do when they get long. They start getting around the pot. But if you see, I have plenty of room. And now I'm going to add the media behind in the pole behind. Usually I can do this with before I place the plant, but because the root system being so large, I won't have that ability to do that easily. So what I'm going to do here is like I'm just going behind the root system and into the cavity of the moss ball and fill it up with the aero mix. So now that the back is full, I'm going to add first my powder mix. There hasn't been a significant amount of root breakage, but this is always a great guarantee. A little bit more of DE, or diatomaceous earth, a bigger pinch of mycorrhizae, a bigger pinch of earthworm castings, and another pinch of slow release fertilizer. So that's just a guarantee, because again, this is one of the things that I'm going to repeat. I tend to give this at least a rinse every day or every other day due to the salt air that I'm receiving here, because that can dry out the leaves fast as well. So I like to have that slow release fertilizer there, because I'm not doing that with nutritious water. I'm just doing that with regular water. So now I'm covering those roots that are behind the ball, and I'm gonna fill it up all the way. And you see this little fluctuation. I have to give a little tap so the soil gets in there well. Don't tap it too much, because otherwise all the small particles will like fall to the bottom, and then in 2 waterings they're going to be flushed out. Now to give it a little more stability, what I'll do here is, like, if I find anything that is chunkier, I'm gonna put it here as an extra support, because I want I want an incline that is about 15%. I don't want to be like more than that, because then it's hard to like keep it stable. Now I'm gonna put it on the side. I'm gonna find a pot for it. I'm gonna set these two also on moss balls, and then I'm gonna water them all together so you can see that. But before I go, please subscribe. It means the world to me and doesn't cost you anything. Drop a like and share, comment, let me know what you think, and enjoy the watering. And after I shine the leaves, I will give it a good water. Hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for sticking around. Talk to you soon.